I work at an elementary school and yesterday a student told me her mom would give her a beating. You're a mandated reporter. You're kinda required to report this comment. The person you report to can make the decision on whether it's worth following up on. I tried to reassure her this would not be the case. I don't think you should do that. I think you can say things like, "Let me write your mom a note about this. Maybe that will help," or even, "I sure hope not. Because you have not done anything wrong." These kinds of ornaments come off on their own all the time because they're not securely fastened. I hope your mom will recognize that. But you might well be lying if you say, "I'm sure that won't happen. But I think you should take that comment up the chain to your boss." Or call CPS and ask them if this rises to the level of something you should report. It should always be taken seriously. Talk to the principal. You should follow our ECE professionals for more advice on looking after young children. As part of our annual child protection training, this is definitely something that would need to be flagged up and reported. While that's not evidence of a crime, I believe it would be beneficial for the student if anyone at school, especially your principal who is in daily contact with this child, should know that there's a possibility of abuse. To anyone who has the notion she's making it up, I can say with assurance that she did not learn the word beating all by herself. This word is not in a 5-year-old's vocabulary unless she hears it with regularity. Once you've done this, everyone, especially you, should be extra alert for visible bruising or different behavior that gives an indication of abuse. If you're in the US and you work full-time at a daycare center that has not given you mandatory reporter training, your employer is in violation of the law. Yes, you are required to report that at least to your boss. And depending on the policy of where you work, it may or may not be your job to report it to Child Protective Services. I've worked at places where my only job is to report suspected abuse to my boss, and I've also worked at places where I need to be the one to call CPS. Either way, bring it up to your boss immediately. Of course you have to report this. And you should know that without having to ask Reddit. You're not the one who has to decide how serious it is. That's not your job. Reporting it is. I had neighbors I knew neglected and beat their kids. I reported twice and nothing happened. Finally, the little boy started preschool. On the last day of preschool, he cried and the teacher asked him why. He told her he was scared for the summer because his mom beat him. She called and finally all 3 kids were removed. Yes. Report. Op comes to our No Stupid Questions. Gets tons of people acting like it's a stupid question. Why did you assure the kid it wouldn't happen? It for sure knows that better than you. And now they know you're not truthful with them. I told a teacher this before and she assumed I was exaggerating or lying. I was not. I'd get beaten with anything ranging from a piece of wood to a shovel for wearing pants at my knee, rather than passed it on a hot day. I know I would have appreciated someone in my corner as a kid. I'm glad you asked for help. Don't pay attention to the people chastising you. I agree with the folks saying report this to your supervisor and let him or her know you need more training. If you continue to work with children, this won't be the last child who says something that concerns you. You tried to reassure her that her mom wouldn't beat her? And how in the world do you presume to know that and be in any position to reassure her? First of all, you work there. You should know these things. Second, yes, you need to report it. The actual answer to this is yes. You should connect with CPS. However, take the anxiety out of the picture. You can call for a consult if you're not totally sure what to do. They will then walk you through if a report should be filed or not. There is also a chain reaction where, unfortunately or fortunately, there needs to be multiple reports before an investigation. Source: me calling CPS 50+ times. Mandatory reporters must report. It's mandatory. When in doubt about a serious thing, and you're a regular worker low in the hierarchy, the answer is to make it someone else's problem. In this case, reporting it factually. The kid said this. There's no other evidence or history. Is the correct choice. Someone else decides what to do with that information. Don't self-assign yourself a job above your pay grade, such as deciding if the comment was serious. If the systems in place cannot account for children making comments that might be exaggerations without realizing the seriousness, that's not your problem. Please do something. I told my teacher when I was in grade 3 and nothing was done about. I should have been taken out of the home. If you are in Canada, you are a mandatory reporter. Not just your supervisor but contacting CPS. The child has indicated possible abuse. Mandatory reporters must file a report. I am a victim of severe abuse and neglect. I had another parent and family who could have taken us if our abusive parent were deemed unfit. However, it was difficult for them to make a case because the abuser kept us isolated from them and people like medical professionals to hide what was going on. Adults in our lives absolutely knew, parents of friends, teachers, some healthcare professionals, yet I think there was only one report made over the years, and that one poorly managed. Adults were afraid of retaliation or thought it wasn't their place to get involved. Please, if you are concerned about child is being abused or neglected, report it and let whatever happens, happen. These kids need to see what's happening to them called into question. They are not necessarily headed for bad foster circumstances if you report what you're seeing. Supervision can help address some of their circumstances through application of resources or educational outreach with parents. Be there for them. You may be the only adult who knows and can say something. Dr. Drew made a comment once on Loveline about how the biggest difference between at-risk children having a successful outcome versus not was having health examples of adults and family outside their home. Be the example.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Aricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.